Welcome to the Authorpreneur podcast, where we talk to authors and business owners about how they are using books to market themselves and their businesses. I'm your host, Chris Green, and in each episode of the Authorpreneur podcast, we talk to a successful author and business owner to see exactly how they are using their books and author status to grow their businesses and serve their customers. We'll talk about what's working, the benefits of becoming a published author, and we may even come up with some creative new marketing strategies. In this episode of the Authorpreneur podcast, I talk with Nathan McCallister, the author of Evergreen Affiliate Marketing. Nate is a lifetime entrepreneur and describes himself as a digital marketing junkie who shares everything that he knows at entreresource.com, a curated website dedicated to finding and sharing the newest and best information for entrepreneurs and affiliate marketers. We discuss the benefits of becoming a published author and how he has used his book and author status in his business to establish expertise, acquire new customers, and to network and connect with other business owners. If you're a fan of creative business and marketing strategies, you're really going to enjoy this episode. So Nate, I hope I didn't flatter you too much with that introduction, and welcome to the Authorpreneur podcast. Excited to talk to you about books and specifically marketing, which is a little bit of your specialty.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped. Thanks for having me. Excited.
Well, I like the description of your book. It starts out with finding good information about affiliate marketing is hard. And it kind of sounds like you wrote the book to solve a problem that you had, finding good information. Is that kind of how it worked, or was there a different process?
Yeah, so the thing with really any information for anything that you're doing, the problem is that there is so much good free information, but it's just riddled with bad information, and deciding what's good and what's bad is nearly impossible. And then you've got other things like I love YouTube. I love it to death. It's taught me so much, but it's not the best reference because there's reasons that people keep old posts up, right? Because they're making views, they're getting money. So something from 5 years ago that used to work in affiliate marketing, that video is going to still be up. It's got 1 million views, right? They're not going to take it down, but YouTube doesn't let you re-upload anything. So people are really just leaving old stuff up. Things change so fast. And then you've got a lot of stuff with people who don't really have the broad understanding of affiliate marketing. Not to toot my own horn.
They don't know what they don't know, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. People who had one-off success, maybe with one affiliate program, or not to put anybody down, but that is common. You get a little bit of Dunning-Kruger effect where people don't really have the bigger picture and kind of the empathy for the average reader because they are much more into their one experience, and then just a lot of clickbait, trying to get views. And then there's also a lot of, in the make money online space, it's just notoriously it's pretty rough. Like there's a lot of ghost written content on affiliate marketing. Really, there's like 3 books on affiliate marketing on Amazon that I really liked. But even those were they didn't have all of the things that I wanted to share. I've just been doing it so long, and I felt like that was my one area where I have stuff where I wanted to write a book where it's like I have things that the average person doesn't have any reason to know, right? And the beauty of books is that you get to gain what is essentially someone's lifetime of knowledge really quickly, right? So I share things that took me years to learn in short chapters. And I felt like that was where I could bring the most value. And by doing that always, even though my main business is not profiting from the books itself, like you said before, a book is like the world's greatest business card. Having a good book, it helps build your credibility, build your brand. And also I just like to write because it helps you better understand your own topic, right? So I became a better affiliate marketer through articulating affiliate marketing to other people. You realize like, oh, actually, I don't really understand why that works. And there's a couple of things where I'm like, actually, that's not something I should teach, because I'm actually, as I was writing it out, I'm like, you know what? I don't think that I'm right about that. So you actually really refine your own understanding of stuff. And I think it's learning at the highest level when you can explain something to other people. So many benefits to writing a book, not just for building the brand or making the sales. It really just makes you a smarter person overall, a better rounded in your field.
So you would say you selfishly wrote the book kind of for yourself because you benefited from it.
Yeah, it's also part of why, when I blog, like whenever I learn something new or something works, I write about it. And they've done studies that show that when you teach what you know, you remember it at the highest level. Also, I think that you understand it at the highest level because people are gonna, especially in the world of YouTube and blogging, people don't really let you get away with really bad info. I mean, it happens, right? But like, if you're like me, if I get a comment where someone like really calls me out, I don't just ignore it and think like, oh, that person's just a hater. I think like I really got to double check, make sure I'm right. Um, some people don't feel that way, which is, you kind of do need to have that thick skin. But I think there's a balance of having thick skin and then also being receptive to feedback and adopting it and
Yeah,
implementing it and making changes.
yeah. There's definitely like pretty much for every topic. There's not always going to be like a right versus wrong. People are going to have their opinions about affiliate marketing and what works and what's the most ethical way to do it and what's kind of gray area.
Right.
And people are allowed to have different opinions. And if someone has a different opinion than you and they're both kind of valid, it's like it's okay. It's cool to have your
Yeah.
opinion. But sometimes it's like, you know what? Maybe they're making a point. Maybe I don't fully understand this. And it's something that you said that I've put in a lot of my books is really understanding why something works. And me and you, we go back to like the early FBA days, and I use FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon, as an example, which FBA is close to becoming kind of a household term where like most people understand what you mean when you say that. And explaining what it is simple. It's a Google search away. It's a one sentence answer, right? But why it works requires some actual knowledge and some in-depth and some experience and all of these other things. And I've gone back to that frequently. Well, if you can explain why what you're saying is true or why it works, then great, you understand it. Because you mentioned the Dunning-Kruger effect, which I love talking about, and I think people don't understand it as well. I don't want to make the whole show about the Dunning-Kruger effect. It has a lot of overlap with imposter syndrome, which is so prevalent in the author community, in the kind of guru expert community. Yeah. Have you seen a lot of that in what you've been doing? You said you've been putting out content in multiple formats: YouTube, blogs, publishing books, and then kind of seeing it in yourself. And that process, it's almost like a self-correcting process. By putting out a lot of content, you're, like we said, kind of selfishly refining your own skill set.
For sure. And the funny thing about the Dunning-Kruger effect in the make money online space is it actually, like, that early phase actually kind of works because a lot of people, it's a catch-22 because like when I had pretty decent early success teaching people how to do things like create sales funnels and make money online, but a lot of it I was really overconfident in what I was doing because it worked for me, but also it's like it was anecdotal. I didn't have as much experience to be like, hey, I can take any of you. But I had that blind confidence because I'm like, dude, I've got the Midas touch. Everything I'm doing is working. So yeah, I could talk. But then you get that catch-22 of balancing imposter syndrome, right? Where it's like that you see a lot of really like young entrepreneurs who are brand new. They like, just especially in the FBA space. You see guys that are like, man, I did $1 million in sales last year. They are so confident. And they should. I mean, it makes sense. Like if you do that, especially if it just came out of nowhere, right? But then you do start to get that Dunning-Kruger effect where something goes wrong, and sometimes it does take that. Sometimes it takes like a horrible mistake where you're like, oh crap, I've been talking about making money, and here I am. I just lost $100,000. That happened to me big time in crypto. I was early into crypto, and I just thought like, dude, I know everything I'm doing. But really all I was doing was, they say everybody's a genius in a bull market. And that really taught me like, man, you know what? I don't really understand this. And it's a humbling thing. And I think as you get older, you start to really not let that bother you. It's really just an opportunity for growth. But like I said, it's that balance where there is a benefit to that early blind confidence. And it does get people moving and taking action. But then some people don't have that at all, even when they maybe deserve it early on, which is what I think you and I see a lot in the entrepreneurship space. Is people are so terrified because they don't know everything. They think that they need to know everything to teach anything. And I've always said that as long as what you're teaching is 100% correct, it doesn't matter if that's the only thing that you know, as long as it is 100% correct. And you're not speaking out of, you're using references, you're using real experiences, you should share that. You don't have to be a billionaire to teach people that, So give somebody one little bit of advice that worked for you. It's it's something that I think that you develop that kind of over time, and it's a maturity thing. And I think that the best creators understand that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There's so many things where you can have accidental success and someone could do the exact same thing. And I don't want to say like accidental failure, but like it just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're thinking in like a linear fashion of like, hey, if I do this, this, and this, then this guy said this would happen, and then it doesn't happen. Well,
Mm-hmm.
to me, the mistake is thinking that everything's linear to where like everybody can do this process and it's going to work out. There are so many uncontrollable factors involved. One of those things being luck, where people
Yep.
don't realize, oh, I actually got lucky. I was doing retail arbitrage and I was in a store at the right time as the manager came down and was furious at how much clearance product was still there. And he said,
Yeah.
get rid of it 90% off. And you were just in the right place at the right time. And you make
Yeah.
$5,000 in December and you think about quitting your job. And it's like, just
And then it's
realize
not
you were
even
lucky. Yeah.
it's not even just the luck. Like I tell people all the time that I don't know that I would be doing this still, 11 years later, had I not gotten lucky on my first retail arbitrage stuff, because my first thing that I did to make money online worked. But I completely appreciate that, like, that's not normal, and that was lucky.
I mean, you
If
see
I
it in
would have
hindsight.
started,
Now
yeah,
you have
if I would
experience,
have
you can look back.
started with YouTube, it would have taken me years. It would take me a long time to see results, and I would have been like, "Oh, this is a scam. It doesn't work." It's hard to keep coming back, to trying these things that aren't normal. It's not normal to be an entrepreneur. It's not normal to make money on your own. But to keep coming back after you see it not working, that's rough. But when you get that lucky first success, it becomes easier to stick through the other stuff, because you're like, okay, this does work. I just need to find it. And it also gives you kind of maybe an unrealistic, helpful belief that everything does pan out, because it did pan out so early, that it does keep you going, and it's easier to go through the mistakes. So I do have a sense of empathy, and I feel bad for people that have bad luck at the beginning, because I'm much more impressed by the people that have been grinding for years, failing, and are still around, because I don't think I would be here if I didn't get early success. And so I try to be mindful of that. And like I said, not to put other influencers down and stuff, but I do think that there is a lot of that where they think anyone can do it, and the people are being lazy. They can, but you also have to appreciate and be empathetic to the fact that it's not so simple. And then also, like, one of the analogies I make is that when you're overweight and you go to the gym, you work out and you go home and you're still overweight. When you're in amazing shape and you go to the gym, you go home from the same workout and you're still in shape. It's a lot easier for the in shape person to go back to the gym, right? And some people's businesses, they basically just happen to be in shape. Like, they got lucky. But if you can keep grinding when you're not seeing the results, like, it's hard, man. Like, especially because when you first start, by definition, you're not making money. So you probably have a job. You don't have, unlimited time, money, and resources to put into this. So it's pretty easy to be like, you know what, this doesn't work. Everybody talking about it is full of crap. I'm out. I'll go, So I think it's important to understand your readers and your audience if you're in that space, and really any niche. I don't want to talk too much just about make money online space. Any niche, you should be empathetic to the fact that, other people have different circumstances.
I suffered, I don't want to say suffer isn't probably the right word for it, but I was definitely an early adopter on a lot of things and got a lot of benefits from being an early adopter and being first to market with a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only in hindsight where I could see, wait a minute, the biggest advantage I had was that I was early. Not that I was a genius, not that I was better than anyone else at anything. But
One thing I'll say about that is that you then took that, though, and you understood the power of being early. So you've always been a forward thinker. We both, to our own peril at times, fall through the shiny object syndrome. But you then learned that there is value in being early in the market. So that's what got you into. You were one of the first people, not just on Amazon, but then you became one of the first people in the merch. and then you became one of the earlier people to really see KDP for what it is. So I think there's value in that. It's not like the first luck is what it is. It's just random, but then you can start to be proud of what you do with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the lesson I think people should be taking from this is, yes, if you try something and it doesn't work, it's not just like you failed and you suck at that and you wasted your time and let's just be negative about it. It's like, no, that didn't work, but you learned something from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the things that I've done, I've also done all kinds of things that people have ever kind of forgotten about. Like, wait, you were doing some of that? You had an account over here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like not everything works out. But then if you do enough things, you're going to learn from the things that work and the things that don't work and just continually refine things. And I think that kind of goes back to what we were talking about with your book. And tell me what you think about this. Would you make the case that books are, in a way, the ultimate curation kind of product, whether it's a digital book or a physical book, where it's like, hey, this author has curated this information out
Mm-hmm.
of an abundance of YouTube videos. And I have the same frustration that you have. Like, oh, this video is out of date. This video doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've literally taken my books off of Amazon. I have delisted my courses on Udemy.
Yeah, you have to.
They're out of date. Like as much as what kills me is when I take my courses off of Udemy, it takes away my reviews for those courses from my review total. And I'm like, no, just leave those up there. Like I got the review, but I'm taking the course down because it's not relevant. I'm trying to be good for the customer and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't. They leave up their bad information. And I get it. It's not like we're not trying to call people out for doing it, but it leaves this, especially with Google. I mean, you know how people, is this a scam? Is this a scam? Is this a scam? And like, those are all the search results because they've keyword modified it and all this stuff. It's like, no, I just want real information. Please, can I just find some? And when you can go to Amazon and find a book written by somebody with actual experience, understands the whys behind it, and for $10, you can get all the information about a subject. I think a lot of people are missing that and sleeping on it and being like, they think, oh, that level of information, that level of value should cost more than $10.
Yeah.
And I want people to kind of reset and be like, look, it's amazing that I can get that information for $10. And I'm thankful that someone like Nate McCallister wrote a book about affiliate marketing that's actually going to be relevant in 20 years and not just what's working now. And it's just stuff full of affiliate links for his own stuff. It's like, so I'm glad that you wrote it. And anybody that's interested in affiliate marketing, they can find your book on Amazon. So I mean, that's what I want your thoughts on. Books as the ultimate curation device.
Right. And for me, like any great book, let me grab one right here. Let me find a good one. This book, Influenced by Robert Cialdini. Amazing book. What I look for is the references. The bibliography. So many pages of references, right? That's what makes a great book, especially when you're talking about something like psychology. You don't have a lifetime of research and data, and you do have to have references. If I see a book like this and it has no references, absolutely not. Yeah, that's not a good book. It's just too anecdotal. And even if the person is like, a really successful, person, there's your anecdotes are your anecdotes. You need the experience from other people. So what, like with my book, it is, I don't know how many of those ideas, if any of them are like completely just original. I doubt any of them are completely original. It's all stuff that I learned because I'm a huge consumer. I consume tons of content. I read all of the books on marketing. I watch the videos on affiliate marketing. I go through other successful affiliate marketers' content and I see what works, and then I use it. And then where my value is that I'm able to then filter out what doesn't work and then keep what does. And then I'm also like, I'm doing this. Here's what I learned. This is my reference. It does work. So I'm able to actually the value is really refining all of that information, doing the legwork for other people, and then putting it into a trustworthy, one place where they can get everything from assuming that they trust you as the author. They don't have to then trust 100 people on YouTube. Because let's be honest, you can't trust 100 people. I genuinely believe that most people are good, but 100 people giving you information, there's going to be some bad information. There's going to be a lot of bias information. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's just paid.
There's opportunities out there, and then the systems like on YouTube, like for the get paid based on views and like what's trending and all that. Like it's a system that's set up to not always have the best actual content created by people who have the best information. And I say that as someone who helps a lot of authors in the self-publishing space. I get a lot of questions, and I see it posted online a lot. Where like, what's trending right now? What are the hot topics to write about? And I always give them the same advice. Like, that's a bad idea to just try to look. You're not an expert in, hey, affiliate marketing is hot. Like, okay, cool. I'm going to write a book about it. It's like, you don't know anything about it. And now with like ChatGPT, like that's a terrible idea if you don't know. If you can't actually edit it and tell if it's actually correct. And it's the same on YouTube, where people are like what's hot, what's trending, what's going to get the most clicks, what's going to get the most views, the longest runtime, where can I place my ads and all this stuff. It's like, no.
But if you're trying to write a book that is trying to build your authority, I mean, you just have to. I cringe when I see people say, "Oh, I'm going to do a course. I'm going to use ChatGPT to make a course." What are you talking about? Are you kidding? Like,
bad idea.
Like, that's a terrible idea, and it's just by definition. And I don't like originality for originality's sake. Like I said, if you write a book with no references and you're just like, "Well, I want to be original," that's not original. I mean, it might be. I could tell people that you should write an email to work. I don't think anyone's ever said that. But if I'm just like, well, it's original, it's good info. Originality is so overrated, and you really truly get the originality. And this is, again, I'm stealing this anecdote about originality. Everything's a remix. You take other people's stuff, and that's how you truly become original. Is you take something from this, take what you like and put it together, and you take 20 different things you like, put it into one thing, and that becomes original. It's really pretty beautiful.
I love that idea. And when you combine that with the simplicity and power of self-publishing, to be like, I'm taking all these things that I like a little piece of that. I see how this is working, and like, well, no one's combined these two things before, and I'm going to put kind of my own spin on it. And you can use self-publishing to turn it into an actual product on Amazon that people can buy. Your curated thing. You have your own description saying this is what it is. This is who it's for. This is who it's not for. And now you've got something out there that gives you credibility, and specifically you can use it in your business. So I know you're using your book in your business. And one thing I like about your book that I wish more authors in the business space would do this is have a dedicated website for your book. So your book has its own website. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like how well it's performing in terms of like driving traffic to Amazon? Is it helping you build your email list, help with SEO, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gives it an air of professionalism, and building a website is I don't want to say it's so easy, because what happens is anyone can make a website, but it'll look, I'm sorry, if you've never built a website before, it's going to look bad, and you're going to probably think it looks good. Like I'm speaking from experience. My old stuff, if you go to the Wayback Machine and look at my blog, oh my God.
Oh man,
awful.
I've seen mine too.
It's bad. It's so bad. But then you think it's good. I mean, maybe it's a little Dunning-Kruger, but just hire someone. If you're serious about your book, pay somebody $100 on Fiverr, build your website, collect emails. Emails are really one of the biggest things in my book. My book doesn't sell anything. I don't even really I hardly look at my sales for my book. I've often forgotten to even cash my checks, because they're not massive. They're several $100. But
your book did reach, I don't know if you saw this, to the top 800 on all of Amazon, which is, it's pretty good. I've looked at a lot of sales ranks for a lot of high-powered books from very popular authors, and they rarely get the top 10,000, let alone the top 1,000. So feel free to take this and be like, oh, I didn't even realize I hit number 700 and something.
Once I wrote it, I really
accomplishment to get that high.
It just feels so good. I'll tell you what, there's few things as gratifying as having your book that you made in your hands, and not just having it, but like I've made other books that I wasn't as proud of. That one, I'm just like, you know what, I put my heart and soul into this. I don't even read the reviews anymore. I'm like, you know what, I did my best on the book. It is what I want. I'm not going to be editing it. I wrote the book Evergreen, Affiliate Marketing, with the concept of it being, this is stuff that I'm not going to talk about. I could have made the book 600 pages if I wanted to talk about today affiliate marketing, because there's stuff that's working right now, but it's not going to work in 10 years. So the concept of my book was, I want it to be as long as the internet's around. These are core concepts that will continue to work, unless the only thing that, if they like banned email marketing, would be the only thing I'd have to maybe change. Stuff that I don't see in the near future. or stuff
No,
that you
not
couldn't hold
anytime
against
soon.
me for not predicting. But it feels so good to get the book out, and honestly, the sales and stuff are good. But if if it were my main business, I would definitely pay more attention to it. But I really did it mostly for the brand building, and just knowing that, like, you know what, if someone who's serious about affiliate marketing, if they read this book from cover to cover, I did my job. I that it is stuff that, and then not to toot my own horn, but I am an outlier in terms of affiliate marketing. You don't get a lot of people that are having that success that are also like, you know what, I'm gonna, because it's not as profitable to write the book as it is to just do the stuff, right? So I did have to take away some of my time from actually doing my affiliate marketing, because I wanted to put, I wanted to have a little bit of a legacy where I had this book where all the stuff that I learned is here. Like, my kids can read it, and it'll make sense to them then, right? But I felt like, this is my thing that I have a unique perspective on. Definitely in the 1% of affiliate marketers. I'm going to write this book because it doesn't seem like anyone else. There's like one other guy that definitely I think was on it too. It's called From Nothing. Good book. But it wasn't like Evergreen, like what I wanted to do. So
Well, I think that's a good point of, like, I talk to a lot of authors who they're a little apprehensive, like, I don't want to publish something like someone else has already done it, or there's already this like industry standard book and all these things. And like the point that you just had, like, you wrote your book, and you'll give shout outs and acknowledgement to other people who have written books in similar niche, similar category, with their own take on it. Like, it's okay for a category to have multiple books. Like, I think a lot of people forget when they go to Amazon to buy a book on a subject, they see a lot of different titles. They all say that they're great. They all have amazing credentials. They all have great reviews. And if people don't, me and you being as deep into Amazon as we are, when you scroll down and it will say frequently bought together, and it's like, wait, 3 different books all about the same subject. Like, Amazon knows enough that they're going to say, look, a lot of people buy all 3 of these together. We're going to make it so simple. You can just press one button and buy all 3 of them. And
the last thing it is a competition.
Yeah. Like, you're not trying to be like, I am the only book about affiliate marketing and everyone else sucks. And if you buy someone else's, you're dead to me. Like none of that makes sense. This isn't a game of like, there's a winner. It's like, no, it's the kind of collective
look how many
information.
books you have behind you. Yeah. And that's not the book consumer is not someone who's like, oh, this is it. This is the book. I'm done. Honestly, like, I recommend in my book, I think I tell people to check out these other books. One book isn't enough, even though I think that my book's wildly comprehensive. Like I said, there's not stuff about what's happening right today. I didn't put the stuff in there about like TikTok creator marketplace, which is crushing, because I don't think that's going to be crushing forever. It's going to get saturated. So I didn't talk about it.
You didn't write it. Did the thought cross your mind to write a book about your experience with crypto? Like at the height when you were like flying high and be like, you know what, I should write a book about. I am so good at this. I'm gonna write a book about it. Or did you already kind of know, hey, whatever I write about is going to probably not be relevant?
I think
2
I
weeks
was a little
after
bit
it's published.
I think I was more internally confident. I created like a group and we talked about stuff. I knew that I didn't even like know what to talk about. It was just the nature of like, I was just buying coins and they were booming because everything was booming. In hindsight now, like I overthought it. I had, like 20 Bitcoin at one point, and I'm like, I need altcoins, because altcoins are I can 4x an altcoin, and Bitcoin's going to take so long. That'd be worth like freaking $1 million right now. And it's humbling when you realize, like, you know what, that was completely luck. It was, you do have to give yourself a little bit of credit for having the audacity to invest. And then also just you gotta accept the fact that, like, you know what, I was lucky enough that I had the money to invest. So I can't sit here and act like I'm, know more than other people or better than other people. It's like, you know what, I was 25-year-old that happened to have a little extra money, and it's a high risk thing. And I had a bunch of friends that were doing it, told me about it. When you buy Bitcoin at $1,800, like, yeah, I'm sorry, you're gonna make money. Like, it doesn't matter what you do.
I used to say, if you could lose money with crypto at the time, you are a crypto expert. Like, if you knew enough to be like, look, I watch this, to intentionally lose money, would
That's
actually be a
tough.
sign that you knew what you were doing. But it was
Oh,
very difficult to actually
yeah.
lose money at that time. But
Well, then
to
we'd
me,
buy
the
the
marketing.
IPOs. We'd buy the IPOs, and 90% of them would fail, but then one would blow up. And that's just, you
So
can't
that's the
do.
strategy. Just buy
It's
10 of everything and cross your
and that
fingers.
doesn't work in any other field of finance and investing. Like try
No,
that
but
with stock.
I mean, as a marketer yourself, and I'm a marketer at heart as well. Like to me, it's like 25 years old with $1 million in Bitcoin is like the attention, right? You can get attention with it, but then like, what was the actual lesson that you learned? And that's the lesson that can actually be a book can actually be about how. Wait a minute, I didn't realize that I really didn't know what I was talking about, but you learned something. So yes, I mean, we're not trying to say like what you did with crypto was a failure, but your mindset
It
that changed
was.
what you thought it was to what it is now. You learned something.
Yeah.
And those lessons are what people are able to put into books because now they understand the why. They understand why they made money, why they lost money, why they made the decisions that they made. If they could go back, what decisions would they make now based on more information that they had? And when you
Mhm.
share that type of information, that's your story. And people
And,
can
and
learn
and
from it
how
and be
many
like,
great
am I in that
books?
situation right now?
How many great books have you read that start with the person talking about their insane success and immediate result? It's almost always starts from a point of an insane low point. Um, and I don't love that because I feel like a lot of books kind of force it. Like I was a pizza boy. Like you were 19, yeah, you were a pizza boy.
A
Like,
lot of
you're not like a 48-year-old pizza guy. And then next thing you know, it's like, yeah, that's not that great. People kind of force that, but also I mean, the best thing you could do, and this is so much easier to say when you're not currently in that. Like I feel bad even saying it to people who are currently having a hard time, is to tell yourself like, this is going to be an awesome story. Um, if I could turn this ship around, this is going to be an awesome intro to my book.
If it works for somebody, whatever. I'm a big proponent of whatever works in terms of like personal motivation because people are motivated by different things.
Right.
So I think there could be some value in saying, look, I want my story to be this, and right now, and this is where I want to be. But you have to do that first yourself. But then you understand, wait a minute, I can use the power of books and publishing, and I can build my
Mm-hmm.
own website down the road. But don't jump too far ahead and be like, oh, I'm a pre-write my story. I'm like, well, no,
Yeah.
not yet. You can't really pre-write a story that way.
One thing about the Dunning-Kruger though is when it comes to writing a book, you start to realize like, man, I got to fill up a lot of chapters to really make a full book. And you're like, actually, I only know a chapter or two worth of stuff. Like it takes it really, especially if you want to write a good book. Like a good book, you write this much and you publish this much. It really has to be refined. That was what's the saying that like perfection is when there's nothing left to remove, as opposed to nothing more to add. Um, and
I've
I
frequently
think
said, I've got a whole list of like book ideas that I want to write. And I went through them and I was like, these are blog articles, man.
mhm,
Like, come on.
yeah,
You
yeah,
go through that and be like, is this a blog article or is this like an actual topic for a book?
right, yeah. Or it's like if you're gonna do that, make a whole bunch of blog posts on that topic. That's honestly that's kind of not to change the subject, but that was one of my hacks for people who do want to write books is blog your book. Um,
Yeah,
I
top
actually
10 blog posts, top 10
yeah
podcast episodes transcribed. Like,
yeah. I mean, you can because I find that writing my blog posts my blog posts are always really refined, really well done, and it's easier because they're bite sized, and you're like, I could really focus on this. Um, and then just down the road, you're like, look, I've got all this content that I already have. And you can use. I mean, obviously, you got to go through it and reword it and all that's. I took some stuff that was. I mean, because I'm a blogger too. Like, I can't write my book about affiliate marketing and then somehow not talk about anything that I've already talked about on my blog. Um, so I already had the groundwork. So that's also going to help me out a lot on my next book because I do have a lot of the chapters already are very in-depth blog posts. And my blog posts are usually overly in-depth, which is kind of what you need, I think, in a book. Like people do, they are there to learn as much about it as possible. So too much is, and then again, like I said, you start with too much and you refine down to just enough.
Well, tell me a little bit about your kind of mindset back before you published a book, and then you went through the publishing process. Like, do you remember that kind of journey of like, did you think it was going to be like really hard, and then you did it, and you're like, that was hard, as hard as I thought it was going to be, or is it almost like a, wow, I should have done that a long time ago?
Oh man, that's a good question. So the thing that really held me together was the fact that I was like, you know what, this is a serious book. Um, it's for brand building. It's an investment for me in time. I'm gonna invest in a good editor. So I kept telling myself like, it's okay if this isn't perfect. Got an editor. They're one of the best that I could afford. They're gonna they're gonna keep me tight. So even though like I actually made the mistake kind of I didn't make their job hard because I edited so much myself. I just don't like I have a hard time with the rough first or the ugly first draft. So I did refine a lot of stuff myself, but just knowing that I had that like safety net of somebody in the back that was gonna um, professionally read my book, give me a different set of eyes, edit any obvious mistakes, any inconsistencies, help me with the flow. Because it is a skill set that does take that those are two separate skills. Like to have the skills to understand the topic, you might have dedicated your life to understanding that topic. You didn't have time to dedicate your life to understanding how to edit, format, do all that stuff. So, but there are people that do, and they actually charge way less than a lifetime of work really costs. I mean, I think I got my editing, formatting. I did my own covers. I did my own designs, but then I had somebody redo them. I think it cost me about $2,000. And then I paid somebody to read my audiobook, to mixed reviews. I might end up reading it myself later. People say
Well, you try something, you can change it, see what works.
Yeah. I definitely recommend
decisions.
check out readsy.com if you have a long book and you have the budget. If you don't have the budget, I mean, don't let that stop you. Um, write it, get it in your own hands, read it, let other people read it. Just realize that like, yeah, maybe it's not going to be perfect. You can always re-upload. But if you can afford it, I'm telling you what, it's a hack. It is a hack that it also helps with the motivation to keep going, because I'm like, you know what, I got somebody in my corner. I'm not alone on this. It makes you feel, a lot better about it. You're just like, you know what, because like I said, it takes. I've been spending my time learning about, marketing and doing marketing. I didn't dedicate my life to, I learned a lot along the way as a writer. When you write every day, you get pretty good at it. But I don't edit entire books from beginning to end. I don't do copy editing. Somebody else does, and they do it very well. And like I said, there's a lot of competition, so the prices are not crazy. Like I hired somebody recently, and they had done books for like Dan Kennedy. They had done a book for Gary Vee. They did Gary Vee's book, Crushing It. And they were affordable enough that I was able to hire them without spending five figures.
Sure. Self-publishing is very affordable, all the way down to free if you can do your own editing.
Yeah. And there's so many AI tools now too. I think the absolute. I'm worried about people using AI to write their entire books. If it's just not, that shouldn't be your brand. It deserves better. If you're trying to build a brand, if you're just trying to make little books that you're writing from a pen name and are just trying to make something quick, and it's not a huge deal, it's not even in your niche, go do what you want to do. But if it's your brand, don't trust a robot for it.
No, I don't know.
And by definition, that content's unoriginal because it takes it from somewhere.
Yeah.
Usually without reference.
Have you seen the AI requirements now in through Amazon's KDP program?
We published a book last week. I co-authored, called The 5 Pillars of Amazon Wholesale, and it was the first time that I saw the thing where they asked if we'd used AI, but they didn't say. Obviously, we didn't, so I said no. Are there new stipulations about that?
Yeah, so I'll give you the shortest version of it. It appears to just be kind of a survey right now. Like Amazon's collecting information, like
Yeah.
there are worst case scenarios of using full AI for a mushroom foraging book where all of a sudden you kill somebody because the information was incorrect. And Amazon doesn't want to be on the hook, and the
Yeah.
author isn't trying to kill anybody. However, they're not kind of thinking this process through. So Amazon differentiates two types of AI, AI generated and AI, it starts with an I. What's the word? AI, I'll go back and
Inspired?
fix this. It might be AI inspired. But there's two types of AI.
Mhm.
Whether it's completely generated, meaning this was generated, then you maybe edited it, versus you used AI to come up with some ideas and started from there. And then all the content you actually generated yourself. Amazon doesn't care about that version. They care about the Amazon generated version. And they're also going to ask you, is it Amazon or is it highly edited or not edited? And they're going to ask, is it which platforms did you use? Did you use ChatGPT? Did you use Dolly? Is it for images? Is it for translations?
Right.
Whatever it is. It appears to just be a survey at this
Yeah.
point, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're collecting information and saying, hey, look, all these books that are admittedly 100% AI generated have a 10 times higher return rate and are getting 50% more one-star reviews.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't put those up at the top of search. I could
Yeah.
definitely see Amazon doing that because it's not providing a good customer experience. I don't
There's
think
enough
Amazon
tools.
cares. Yeah.
There's enough tools that they can analyze, with pretty decent accuracy if something is AI generated.
Oh, on top of that too. Yeah. And I don't think Amazon cares in the sense like Amazon, I've always said Amazon doesn't care. They're not emotional. Um, if you use AI to create something and it's flying off the shelves and customers love it and they never return it and they get 5-star reviews, Amazon's not looking to get in your business. But they do need to make sure that in books that have information in are correct, that they're providing a great customer experience, they're not repetitive, all of these
Right.
different things. So we could do a whole other episode just about AI and books and writing and publishing,
Right.
because like anything, it can be used well or it could be used not well, and not always for bad intent, but just for poor quality. And as an
Right.
author, like I think people should be putting out good quality, especially if you're using your book to build a brand, help your business, and all these different things. Which that's kind of where the next question that I want to ask you, like, what advice would you give to somebody who's looking to say, look, I know that there's a big benefit to having my own book, have my name on it, whether it's my personal brand or drive people to my website or for my business. Like, what advice would you give somebody who's like, hey, I want to publish a book, specifically for my business?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the big thing I've noticed is there's a lot of people who write books that make a big promise, but then they end up being entirely sales pitches for their service.
I'm
And
worried too
you
much
will,
about the video sales letter becoming the book sales letter.
yeah. Well, the problem, I mean, it's a great way to get 1-star reviews. I almost any book that has a sales pitch in it will get negative reviews, and it leaves a bad taste in their mouth. That being said, it's not like there's anything unethical with that. If you do have, I mean, honestly, if you have a $2,000 consulting thing and you do a book about retail or real estate wholesaling, you're like, hey, we have a community, and your whole point of the book is to sell this $5,000 community. You're gonna make more money on the community. It's gonna come at the cost maybe of your brand looking like it's a little bit of a bait and switch, because I have seen a lot of books that's like a 60-page book and it's like, I'm going to tell you the secret of blah 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 blah, and then they don't, and they withhold that, and it's just a great way to get negative reviews, and I think it damages your brand. And making money online is such a balance of profitability and then brand protection. You can make a lot of money while destroying your brand, and that's not a good long-term play, and it's just not to get on a high horse, but it's not a good play. Like that's not a quality of, like, you won't sleep well if that's what people see your brand as.
Well, I would make the case you're getting the wrong people in. If you're going too salesy on a book or a pitch or whatever it is to get anybody into your $5,000 real estate community, like if you've got great information, you should be finding the right people for that community who can afford the 5,000, who aren't just saying, hey, I've got $5,020 left in my account. If I join this community, it's going to solve all my problems. I don't know anything about real estate. I don't have any money. But this book says that I can make this much money while doing, 1 hour of work a week.
Right.
you're attracting the wrong people. Like if you've got that information, like please share that information with the people who can actually most benefit from it. Like someone who's in real estate who doesn't know about this type of thing over here and how this type of money works over here.
Right.
Find the right people instead of going down the road. And I was talking with somebody the other day about, kind of good versus bad marketing. You can do bad marketing, but that works.
Yeah.
Like fear-based marketing and scarcity-based marketing, but false, like fake.
Lambro marketing.
Yeah, like the problem is it works because it gets people's attention. This guy's got a Lamborghini, therefore he must be successful. And the internet, and Instagram, like they're terrible in the sense of it's so easy to fake. I mean, AI is going to make,
right,
unfortunately, a lot easier, a lot worse. So there's going to be people attracted to, hey, there's a short-term play here, instead of building something long-term. And I would make the case that if you're going to actually take the time to publish a book, probably going to be more on the long term, actually putting the time in, willing to put your name on something, willing to have a page on Amazon where people can write whatever they want. Not everybody's willing to put themselves out in that sense. And I mean, I know you've got 1-star reviews. I've gotten 1-star reviews. I've never had like a bad 1-star review. It was more of like, hey, the editing could be better, or hey, I didn't learn anything new in this book, which like, I'm sorry, I don't know how to fix that.
That's
please
the
return
worst.
the book if you're not happy with it.
I could go on about the this is for beginners.
Yeah, this book is for beginners, and then someone's like, "Yeah, this book has too much beginner information." It's like,
I mean, you can't sell a book that covers a topic without covering the core concepts.
Yeah,
it sucks. That's an inevitability if you write a book about anything.
I love 1-star reviews because I do think like you can make the case that if you only have 5-star reviews, if you have 10,000 5-star reviews and nothing else, they're going to call BS on you. No one's going to believe you. They're not going to buy it. They're going to be like, this is a scam. He must have deleted the bad ones. Like you want to have, I mean, ideally, I read a book where you want to have like a lot of 5 stars and a lot of 1-star. You want to be polarizing. That's probably not perfect analogy for, specific business niches. But there are going to be books where like, even people who don't like your book are still buying it and reading it.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. Buy it
as long as I can tell. As long as I can tell that they seemed like they actually read it, I don't get bent. It does hurt though. Like after you've written a book, dude, you have to offend me to my core for me to even consider writing a 1-star review because I just know I'm like, dude, this is a year of somebody's life at least.
I've never left a 1-star for anybody.
I've never in my life. I've never, unless they just give completely false information. It's a 40-page book that's just a sales pitch for some scam. Like, dude, you have to offend me to my heart. I would never be like, I already knew all this. I'm like, yeah, I've read hundreds of books. Of course, I hope I already knew a lot of it. I'm at the point when I read a book, I'm like, dude, I'm just looking for that one thing, that one new thing, or that thing that didn't resonate when I first heard it from somebody else 5 years ago. And now I'm at a point in my life where it does resonate. You gotta hear things multiple times. So I'm never mad when I'm like, oh, I already knew this. Like, good for you. That's good. I hope you did. Like, you're a reader. Of course,
I'd be surprised if you didn't know that.
Right. And then if you don't include anything, then it becomes this book is not for beginners. You can't please everybody.
Yeah, no, I don't try to anymore. Well, we're getting close to the end here, so I wanted to, you hinted at it earlier. Plans for another book. What is this next book that you're planning?
Yeah, Evergreen Affiliate Marketing Programs. I'm not sold on that as the final title, but I'm going to actually start, so part of my business is affiliate marketing, and then I do have my own products and services, and obviously I leverage affiliate marketing because I know how powerful that is. And we drive about 45% of our sales, and last year was almost about $1 million in commissions we paid out, from our stuff, and it was such a hack to grow a business, and so many people aren't doing it or they're not doing it right. So I'm putting together a book that really shows how to leverage that, and I just think it's such a beautiful, valuable concept because affiliate marketing lets you grow a business without understanding how to promote it. Like a lot of people, the fact that you create a great software, it's almost a completely different brainwave than the ability to also be a good marketer. But if you can find good marketers to promote your good software, that's a beautiful symbiotic relationship. And so I was like, you know what, this is in the spirit of my first book where I'm like, I'm writing this because this is going to help people, which again, at the end, selfishly helps me. That's the best type of business you can have. Finding something that you can't just do stuff to help other people, but you can just do stuff that helps other people and yourself. Like, it is possible.
I've got a potential book title for you. Tell me if you like it.
Hit me.
Win-win marketing.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I
steal it if you want.
Yeah,
Maybe someone's already used it.
Yeah, maybe. I really want something just about the concept of, making it like, because it is free marketing though, as far as I see it, because it's no risk. Like, you only pay when sales are made. And then if you understand your cost of acquisition for a customer, if you're paying $50 to get a customer, pay and then you pay $40 commission, like you're saving money, and you're taking back all that time, and you're helping grow other people's businesses. You're helping other people be able to create free content and then get paid. So you're really helping the whole system.
Yeah, make it about them, where it makes sense for them to be an affiliate, to promote a product, and of course have a good product. I mean, that's kind of where it all starts from. So yeah, no, I'm excited for that book. So
it's been a grind. I've not had the same. It's definitely, it's just because you've written one does not mean the second one.
No, it doesn't get easier.
It doesn't get easier.
It's still another massive task.
Yeah, it's a different. You think, you look at it differently, and you learn a lot, and you can do it more efficiently. But it's still, you just got to, that feeling of just sitting in front of the computer and just looking at the blinking cursor. And it's a grind. It's a beautiful thing, dude. I mean, I think
you'll be glad when you do it, though. By the end,
I have so much respect for people that can complete books. It's just it's a personality trait that it says a lot. I feel like it says a lot about a person for them to be able to have a goal and then also have no guarantee of making any money on it. Most books don't make anything. To have a goal, to have the self motivation to do it and then see it from beginning to end, just something to be very proud about. So all you who are working on books, even if they don't make money, you hold your head up high, because you did something that most people talk about and just didn't do. And you can absolutely, maybe we can end on this, but you can absolutely do it. It's just a matter of really creating a plan, sticking to it, trusting yourself, not worrying about it being perfect right away. Just worry about the end result when it's time for the end result, and just stick with it.
Well, that's something I want people to really get a good takeaway from, this podcast. This is the Authorpreneur podcast. And it's a good point that you make of, you can publish a book, and your book specifically isn't going to make that much money, if any money, but you can use that book in your business to leverage authority, to get yourself booked on podcasts, to collect emails from a website. You can give away digital copies of it. You can give.
I mean, that's how we became buds. You gave me. I started blogging, and I was not making tons of money. I was still just doing retail arbitrage, and you created your book that was insanely popular. It was $300. I said, "Hey, dude, I'm gonna sound super cheap right now. Can you send me a copy, and I'll write a review? I can tell. I know it's probably gonna be great." And you sent me a copy, and it was huge. And you've had my. I mean, obviously that's not the only reason we're friends, but that's definitely what we've worked together for over a decade now.
It's been a while. And I think that's a good point of, like, the book did launch at $300, but it doesn't cost me $300. This is behind the scenes, marketing Authorpreneur podcast. It does not cost me $300 to give you a $300 book on Amazon. It just cost me my author cost to be able to send it to you. So for under $10, I'm able to gift you a $300 gift, which makes you like, oh my gosh, this is like so amazing. Thank you so much. And then, I expect a actual review, not he gave me a gift, so I'm gonna give him a soft, positive, no matter what's in the book review. Like, the product still has to be good. The book still has to have good content.
Yeah.
But these are types of relationships and doors that can open by going through that grind of publishing a book. Again, not with the goal of, like, I'm going to make so many royalties and I'm going to be a New York Times bestseller. It's like, no, now you have an asset, a digital asset you created yourself, you own, that you control, that you can now use for marketing. And I think that's where people are going to kind of need a little bit of help. Like, well, how can I use it for marketing? And there's tons of different ways. We're going to talk about all kinds of different ways here on this podcast. And I think for people that want to learn more about how you've done it, one, find Nate's book on Amazon. Go to his website, evergreenaffiliatemarketing.com, and just look at what he's done. not in the sense of, look, I'm not an affiliate marketer. Like, I don't care if you're not an affiliate marketer. Look at how he's structured his website, what he has on his website in order to collect email addresses, what lead magnets he's giving away in order to incentivize people to join his email list, how he's using his book. Even if people don't actually click through and buy the book, he can use the fact that he has published a book and his published author status and his website to build an email list, which is going to have, links to his own products, to affiliate products, and just grow his business that way.
Yeah.
To me, that's the big takeaway. It's not, hey, do what Nate does. It's like, look what Nate's doing and then see, hey, I like that structure. I like the design of that website. Hey, Fiverr guy, make it look like Nate's site over here.
Yeah.
Like, people don't mind if you copy websites in that way. Find
nobody
something that looks
notices.
good, that has a great flow to it, that actually converts, and do it that way. So Nate, this is great talking about publishing. Where can people find out more about you if they want more information about, specifically blogging and marketing and Evergreen affiliate marketing and everything else? Where can they find you online?
So my main blog is entreresource.com. So entre, E-N-T-R-E, like entrepreneur, not entree, like dinner. Terrible domain. Sometimes you just got to stick to what you got, and that's where I'm at with that now. But I've been blogging there for years. Huge backlog of content on all different topics related to internet business, internet productivity. Definitely check me out there. I'm at a point I respond to any email or message, not to make, but I know a lot of people don't. I'm still a huge believer in the 1,000 true fans. So anytime I get a chance to, I'll make time to message people, maybe not immediately, but if you have a question for me, hit me up. And I don't have a VA that replies to those or anything.
Me neither.
Yeah, no, I'm always afraid they're going to make me look like an idiot. And it's not that hard to read an email and reply to it. And you don't get them. You don't get a ton. I get maybe one or two a day. I have time to reply. I'm not I think a lot of people act like they're too cool for it. I'm like, no, I love it. I think that, and then also I've had some people that do that and then they're super successful and next, it's not even just altruistic. I'll look good if I make you look good. So I'm all about that. So if you guys want to message me, you can. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. Entre Resource is my main thing. So you can find me all over the place.
Yeah, you are pretty easy to find. And replies to emails don't have to take a long time. Sometimes just need a 1-sentence reply. Do you think I should do this? Yes. Go do it.
I'll tell you what, though. One of my most humbling things when I first started entrepreneurship is I sent an email to this guy, and it was like an essay. And he replied, dude, what's wrong with you? Why would you send such a long email? and it hurt.
Great, honest reply, and here you are learning from it still.
I've never sent a long ass email again, dude. He told me that, and I was like, he is so right. This guy's busy, and I'm just sitting here waxing on. I could have cut this into so not to make fun of anyone who does that. It's just the thing that people do. But I keep my emails succinct.
I've got a little list of things where I didn't realize that I was being dumb. Because I didn't realize. Then when it's pointed out to you, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Thank you for telling me. I will stop being dumb. You don't know you're dumb.
I've not written a long email since, man. And
you can put an entire email. You can put a question in the subject line. You don't even have to actually write an email. I don't know if people realize that.
Yeah.
Put a question in the subject line. You might be really have a really good chance of getting a reply.
You'll get more responses. You'll get more responses.
I agree with that. All right, well, Dave, this was great. I'll let you know when the episode drops. And
awesome.
Anything you need, of course, just let me know. And for everybody else listening on the Authorpreneur podcast, thanks for listening, and we'll chat soon.
All right, thanks for having me, bud.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Authorpreneur podcast. If you'd like more information about this episode's guest, you can find links to their books, websites, and social media profiles in the show notes and video description. If you're an author or business owner who's interested in learning more about how you can use books and published author status to market and grow your business or personal brand, or if you're an aspiring author looking for more information about the publishing process, you can find more information and request an author audit at authorpreneur.com. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, or if you'd like to recommend someone, please reach out via email to chris@authorpreneur.com. Remember, a book is just a book, but when it's your book, it's an asset. #Authorpreneur.